Always believe it, 'cause you are gold, gold, now that you vow to return. All right, here we go. We're live. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of a live MMA Huddle breakdown. As you can tell, Big Willie style is not here in person. Slight delay with the technical side of things. So fingers crossed he will be joining us very soon with his comments and thoughts on cards that we've had and coming up this week. And I will be breaking down the Thiago Santos and Glover Teixeira card. Now, I've got to be honest with you, when I didn't know with so many cards, realize how many awesome cards there are here. Hey Pete, how you doing, bro? I didn't realize how many awesome fights are on this card. I had a hell of a good time watching the kind of tape study for it. I hope you guys are looking forward to the fight card. I'd love to know your picks as we go through the card from from the bottom to the top. Let's just touch on quickly Anderson Silva having his farewell fight with the UFC. He's got one fight apparently on his contract. We don't know if the contract itself is going to be finished with, or Dana White's going to play a kind of a preposterous kind of god thing on or a commanding, dominant kind of control over Anderson Silva's life. I know Anderson Silva shouldn't be, in my opinion, doing, especially maybe not boxing, jiu-jitsu competitions, yes, but fighting, you could just see it, but it's not looking good for him, bless. Uriah Hall getting the win. For me, I wasn't blown up. You know, Uriah Hall's going to be one of those guys he's never going to be challenged for the belt, but for Uriah Hall, it was an emotional fight for him. But let's look at that card as well. There was some awesome performances. Alex Hernandez got his way back into the game. I was totally blown away by Bryce Mitchell. Blew it out the park. Superb performance. That dude is deadly. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have to look out for him in that featherweight division. He is an absolute monster of a fighter. I feel like Andre Philly is maybe that kind of guy who's just never going to be at the top levels, but he's certainly going to be pushing the kind of fringes, let's say, of the top 15. We've had a good week with these announcements so far. We've not had too much on the card changing. We've had Anthony Birchak brought back into the UFC to make a replacement, so that's not too bad. But at the moment, the Vegas card is holding strong, so we've got to be hopeful. Sorry, that this is going to come through. I'm looking forward to it. Again, I'd love to know what your picks are. We're going to break the card down. Big Willie. Oh gosh, do you know? I've just realised my phone is on. I need to quickly turn that off. If Will's online, I've messaged him. If he gets a chance to pop on, he'll pop on. But let's jump into the card and start breaking things down. Let's go with a like, subscribe, and a comment. That's what we want, actually, first and foremost. Almost forgot. Hit that like button if you haven't done already. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Be great to have new followers, as always. We're going to kick off in a bantamweight division, like I said before. A return of a former UFC kind of wild man. Anthony Birchak is taking on Gustavo Lopez. Anthony's just obviously been in the USADA testing pool, known by the UFC. He left the UFC back in, I think it's 2016, 2017, some kind of time like that. Fought unrisen, lost some really tight fights, 3 in a row, in fact, which is crazy. Then he went on the regional US scene, and he got 2 wins, and he's back in the big picture. I got to be honest with you, the original fight that was booked here with Gustavo Lopez and was it Pilata? Who was it again? Oh, Felipe Colares. Man, it wasn't exactly a fight that was exciting me. With Anthony Birchak getting thrown in that mix, that dude is legit. You know, he's tough, man. He's a tough outing for folk. He's hard, gritty. He's got good jiu-jitsu. He's got wild, good striking. He can hit some power in his hands. I think Gustavo Lopez ain't that great. I wasn't overly blown away with his performances outside of the UFC. He's got a bit of pop in his hands. Finds that he strikes a bit wildly is one of the things that I kind of seen and felt that he did. So, for me, Gustavo Lopez, he's not a clean striker. He doesn't, when he finishes his strikes, he's not moving off the center line. He's kind of not making sure there's a slight gap between him and his opponent, so there's an opportunity to strike back. Anthony Birchak is going to jump on this opportunity, just get back in the UFC. He'll take that chance. Bit of money in his pocket. he maybe thought he was never coming back there again. So as an ideal opponent, I think Gustavo Lopez is going to have a tough time with Anthony Birchak. I do. I think Birchak can win this. I think decision win if he doesn't get a stoppage. Potential, if I was Birchak, I would get to the ground, go for a submission over Lopez. But I want to go with Anthony Birchak, either a decision win or a late submission. But man, I've got him all day in this one. Next up in the welterweight division, an interesting matchup, a kind of fun match to watch. Max Griffin, he's a kind of tried and tested UFC veteran now. We know what we get with Max Griffin, and his opponent is, here we go. Now, do not shoot me down for pronouncing this, all right? Ramiz Brahimaj. Okay, now I did that once, and I will do it again. No, I won't. I'll call him Ramiz. Now, Ramiz is a formidable opponent for Mr. Birchak. You know, he's fought on the regional scene on LFA. He's been tried and tested with some stellar names, and he's had some good competition in that promotion. LFA is one of the LFA is like the Cage Warriors of the regional scene in the US, where you get top level guys, top level prospects, and they always have tight fights. You don't get guys that necessarily always walk into that LFA and blow guys out the water. You always get hard fights. You get tested. He's had some good fights in his career. He's had some good tests, XKO as well. He fought on, which is another, a pretty decent promotion in the US. And for me, he's got submissions and he's opportunistic with them. This is something Ramiz will do and look for. With Max Griffin, we know his output and gas tank is a bit of a question mark when it gets to 2 and 3, especially if you put the pressure on him. He likes to often go for the grappling aspect of the grappling game. And I feel here Max Griffin potentially could fall into the trap here of Ramiz going in for a guillotine choke or reversal to maybe get his back, or head and arm triangle, anything like that, or head and arm choke, however you wish to call it. I feel like Ramiz here is a potential threat in this fight. I think he's definitely going to cause problems on this for these fighters in this game, because he's got a lethal little choke. But same token, if you can apply your takedowns correctly and avoid those kind of chokes, he then does find himself a little bit stuck if he's on his back and if he can get pinned off, or vice versa. If a guy can keep the fight standing for long enough, he can have a bit of difficulty. So there is areas for you to beat Ramiz, and I think Max Griffin really has to take advantage of it. He has to fight similar to the way he's fought before, with a game plan. He cannot go off the game plan. He has to stick to his game plan. He has to apply it correctly. Keep punches long. Try not to engage in the grappling aspect to go for takedowns or anything like that, because Ramiz is quick to latch onto stuff as well. He's very dexterous. He's quite ample at getting on and around people's necks and arms, etc. So it's going to be a tough one for Max Griffin. If it gets to the third round, it's when they get tired. I've seen Max Griffin get sloppy. He gets a bit slack. Man, it should be a win. I'm saying here for Max Griffin, he should go out there and win. But man, he's not been performing of late. The Alex Oliveira fight, he was getting hit pretty hard, getting hurt. It was a good, fun fight, don't get me wrong, man. But you had Alex Moreno as well. He lost that fight too. He's not been winning too many fights of late. He's not been performing overly amazing. Mike Perry win for him was, I don't want to say expected. That's rude of me. If you fight the right way against Mike Perry, because everyone should beat Mike Perry. Take him down, pin him down, keep him there. That's what you should do. That's all he can. Or keep him on the end of your punches. Don't let him get close to you. Kind of like a John Phillips did in the middleweight division. I'm going to go with Ramiz, though, folks. I am going to go with Ramiz submission. I just feel that Max Griffin hasn't, in his tenure with the UFC, shown too much of an evolution. He's not added too much in his game. He's not added too much in his striking or grappling to really make me think that there's anything new going to come from Max Griffin. So I kind of feel like Ramiz here, if he's watched the tape study of that guy having his coach up, there should be ample opportunities to maybe get the submission or get the fight won by maybe just outworking Max Griffin and really getting him gassed by the second, third round. You can start to really crank it up there. So I'm going to go with Ramiz with like a submission. I think it'll be a poor takedown attempt from Max, and you want to see a Raz choke there. Next up, we have in the featherweight division, a staple in that UFC rankings and UFC kind of roster. Darren Elkins taking on Luiz. Here we go. Now I'm going to probably murder this name too. Garagorri. You can't say the name's correct. Okay, so Garagorri is taking on Darren Elkins. Man, what a fall from grace this is for Darren Elkins. And again, it sounds like a slight on Garagorri there. I would feel bad, but, I need to have a soul for that. But, man, Darren Elkins, he's lost 4 in a row. And he's still in the UFC. It gets to one of them ones where you're losing those decisions. He went on it. The thing is, Darren Elkins went on a crazy win streak. He won like 5 in a row. So I'm like, Elkins should get this one done, possibly even find the neck. JR MMA, good to see you, bro. Look, I am saying this. It's crazy that Darren Elkins went on this crazy, like 5-fight win streak. There was talks of him in the kind of upper rankings, and I'm not saying title win, but he, the kind of when he gets the wins against like your Dennis Bermudez, your Michael Johnsons, that talk for sits there, and people say maybe he's not too far off a couple of wins, and it could be in that discussion. And then for him, it just seems like I'm not going to blame. Don't want to say Team Alpha Male. I keep forgetting what Uriah called the new gym, but Luiz Garagorri is, for me, a lower level guy. I don't find Luiz Garagorri anything to write home about. I don't think he's got anything too out this world. Don't get me wrong. I think Darren Elkins there to be hit. He's there to be struck. You can absolutely you can get him on this one. But if you look at the Bandai fight that Garagorri had, man, you got to see him win. And he should be putting away someone like Herberto, man. Herberto's not a UFC level kind of guy. And, he got the decision win there. Ricardo Ramos absolutely schooled him. And I think you'll see the same again. He was meant to fight Mirsad Birchak, which for me, Birchak or Elkins is a hard going, man. It's a hard out. So I think Garagorri's going to have a rough night here. I think that Darren Elkins should be able to apply himself, get some dirty striking, and just get in there nasty, grab him, get him to the ground, and just apply his wrestling, man. Darren Elkins should just go with what he's good at, grapple. He's got good gas tank, good conditioning. He can go for a while. He should just absolutely wear on Garagorri. But then again, we could see this is really if Garagorri can get a win here, it really is the end for Darren Elkins as a whole, because I just think 5 losses, it's and especially with someone like Garagorri on the regional scene, you'd expect Darren to beat. But we'll see what happens on that one. Next up in the heavyweight division, we got some big boys. Marcos Rodrigo de Lima against Alexander Romanov. Now, man, I like Alexander Romanov. This kid or this cat, whatever you want to call him, this giant man is exciting to watch. He's fun to watch. The dude hits some cracking body shots, man. King Kong. Yeah, he is big, dude, and he hits hard. He is a cracking little fighter. For me, Marcos Rodrigo is he's a guy just never could be bothered to make the light heavyweight consistently. He just let himself get bigger and bigger and bigger. He was down at middleweight, and he just went, nah, I'm just going to try it out in the heavyweight division. Don't get me wrong, he goes full pelt. When he's in that heavyweight division, he will throw heavy, throw hard, and he will go at you. He will not hold back. But he leaves himself open to then get return fire. He's going to have a rough time here. I think Alexander's going to be able to throw the strikes. Marcos is going to come forward with that aggression. Takedown's going to go down. Alexander is going to get a takedown. And when he gets on top, the dude has got some awesome transitional pressure. He obviously, gosh, when you've got something like that on top here, no matter if you're a heavyweight or not, lifting another heavyweight is horrendously hard. So he's going to have a really good time here, Alexander Romanov. Sorry, I really do see Alexander doing well in the UFC. I'd like him to just tidy up his striking a little bit more, clean up those aspects of his game. I think if he can just work on that a little bit more, he will have a brilliant all-round fight game to really cause problems for a lot of heavyweights in the division. I think Alexander Romanov next year is going to be going up those rankings pretty quickly. I get him a decisive win here. I'm going to go stoppage here against Marcos. I think he can get a submission win. So I'm going to go Alexander Romanov. Let me know what you're thinking, ladies and gentlemen, on your picks. Love to know who you're going for in each fight. Next up we have is this is super late edition. I don't understand. I don't quite understand the kind of, I don't want to say the protection or the support or whatever it is for Giga. It seems like the UFC are just wrapping him up a little bit in bubble wrap. It's strange. So, and Giga Casillas against Jamey Simmons. Simone, sorry. Jamey is he's like got a massive afro. He's one way you can't miss him. Trust me. He's a guy from the regional scene who, again, in his own right, he's done good. But I don't get bringing this kid in to fight someone like this, man. Once he works on his entries, he'll be a juggernaut. Agreed, bro. He just needs to tidy things up. And that's what I mean, to work on his entries for Alexander. He just needs to tidy up that striking. If he can make the striking a bit cleaner, that opens up the entries by a tenfold. You know, he'll have a lot more success with that. So all he has to do is just work on that. And I'm telling you, he will find the takedowns a hell of a lot easier. And when he's on top, it's awful. He's awful to get off as well. Like I said, Jamey, is it the Afro Samurai? That's it, the Afro Samurai. Cracking name, don't get me wrong. I like it. I like it a lot, what this kid can offer. He seems to have this kind of power in his hands, man. He's fought a couple of guys in the regional scenes, and like it doesn't look like he's doing a lot on them. Bro, I would love to pronounce your name, but it's not in a language I can read, so I'm gonna call you bro. Feel free to write your name below, man. I will give you a shout out. You reckon Giga sleeps him? And this is what I mean. I think Giga is going to be levels above him on a striking game, because Jamey, when he was fighting, don't get me wrong, he seems he's got pop in his hands, but he's hitting these guys who haven't got the footwork of Giga, haven't got the head movement, striking level. They're not their same. And I just think that I don't know why they've done this. I don't know why they've given Jamey this fight. I think it's a hard fight for Jamey to come into. It's a weird one. He's super early in his MMA career. Man, I think he's going to have a rough night at the office, man. And like, unless he can get, he'll want to go for the takedown 100%. I think if he was trying to strike with Giga, it would be a waste of oxygen. Like, waste. Jamey needs to get this fight down to the ground. Honestly, he needs to go hard on this. You can call me Lasher. Hey, Lasher. Thank you very much about this fight. Yeah. Hey, Lasher. Yeah, Lasher, I'm with you as well. I think Giga gets the win. I think he's just a level above him in a striking context, and I think Giga's going to have a field day. It just, I don't want to say it bores me, folks. I don't want to say it doesn't excite me when I see someone like Giga get someone like Jamey. I want to see Giga pushed up the ranks now. I want to see, stepped in for Arnold Allen. Well, no, but Arnold declined. Did he? All right, then. Well, I'll text Arnold and I'll see if he did all set up this fight. I've got Arnold's text on WhatsApp. I will text Arnold Allen, Lasher, and I will see if that's true. I will find out if that is the case. To be fair to Arnold, though, I could see why he would turn that fight down. Giga is not a fighter that's going to push him up the rankings. If I'm Arnold Allen, I want someone above me in the ranks, and I understand that fully. I can see why he would turn down the fight. Yeah, Giga said it on Facebook Live. Look, I'm not saying Giga's even lying, but there's a reason why, though. If I'm ranked higher than you, and I met a fighter guy who's higher ranked than me, I'm not going to jump down because it doesn't benefit me in any way. Dana's from Giga of Bone, yeah. Dude's desperate for a finish in the UFC, and this sets him up nicely, in my opinion. Definitely raging. Bro, yeah, I do. I think this. If Giga can't finish Jamey, I'd be surprised, man. I'm like you all. I think he's got to get the finish here. He's got to put someone like Jamey away. Jamey, though, he's got to be smart on his entries. You cannot charge forward against Giga. Giga will throw knees. He will be dangerous with the counter. He's not got too bad takedown defense. You really need to use your chain wrestling when you take down Giga. Set up the striking, go for a body lock, switch down to a single leg, double leg, change your entries, turn the corner. You need to really push that onto Giga. I think if someone gets on top of Giga, we'll start to see maybe some of the holes in his game. But at the moment, they've kind of given Giga the right opponents, the right matchups. It's suiting Giga's style. I think Jamey here is going to charge forward, try to get to the cage and get this fight tight. They're obviously at the apex I believe that means it's a smaller cage. We have to take that into consideration, that might help Jamey a little bit to close the distance, to get to the cage, to get to the wall, cage wall, to maybe try and get the fight to the ground. Giga would possibly want a bigger cage just for movement and space to get away from his opponent. But I am going Giga. Oh, man, he's got to finish him. He's got to finish him. We'll go Giga finish. Let's go for it, folks. Next up, we have, ladies and gentlemen, is a fun middleweight bout, man. Trevin Giles against Bevon Lewis. Should be a good scrap. I'm telling you right now, because Bevon Lewis cracks hard. He's got some output. He can take a punch, but he's definitely hurt. He can definitely be hurt and wobbled, and he's obviously been stopped. Trevin Giles, again, uber cocky with his striking. Hands low, slick, a little bit arrogant, but he's got good striking. Not going to knock you out in one punch, but he's tries to lull you in to false sense security, then throw stuff at you. I find it an interesting fight. Obviously Trevin Giles got the decision over James Krause, which was super tight. James Krause coming up though to 185, didn't he? I think he weighed like 183. So James Krause doing a gangster last minute fight against Trevin Giles. I think Bevon Lewis, though, he's got a little bit more in his arsenal. I think he's got a little bit more in his kind of ceiling as well. Bevon Lewis, let's not forget, Bevon Lewis has had a rough entry into the UFC. If you look at Bevon Lewis when he came in, the dude went and won on Dana White's Contender Series. Got a lovely stoppage. Credit to him. Well done. You got the stoppage. First fight, we're going to give you Uriah Hall, which is not an easy out. Got stopped in the third round, so he was doing great up until the third round. Then he had Darren Stewart, again, a striker. Tough out again. The pair of them were giving it all they got. He came short on that one. Then he got a fight against Daquan Townsend, who is like a free gimme. Like Daquan Townsend is absolutely gopping, honestly. There is more. I've got more use for an ashtray on a motorbike than I have for Daquan Townsend. He's shocking. I can't believe I think I picked him in one of his fights in the UFC. But anyway, so we got the win. Uber thing for his confidence. It'll pick him up. It'll make him feel better. It's exactly what he wants. Exactly what he needs. Trevin Giles is going to have a tough time as well, man, because he's got to not only evade the striking power of Bevon Lewis and also the speed. I feel this is where it's going to come into, because I've noticed Trevin Giles, he does kind of come off the pace in the second, third round. You start to see him wane a bit. His movement isn't as quick. And when he's trying to use that head movement with his hands low, that's where you get caught. I think Bevon Lewis here, calm, patient attacking force, and you will get that W. I am putting down Bevon Lewis to win this fight, man. I think he can land some good heavy shots on Trevin Giles, who might try to opt to get the fight to the ground, which I don't think would be a good move, but he might try to engage in the grappling. So that's where I'm going, folks. I'm going Bevon Lewis with this one. I'd love to know your picks. Again, feel free to join the conversation below or the live chat. It's open for everyone. I will discuss with Will as well. Obviously, my co-host who isn't here today. I will chat to the man about maybe setting up like a chat on the chat side of things. Apparently, you can have like members, which we won't charge. Don't fret. We're not going to charge a buck or a dime. Bevon is long. Yeah, man, he is. Yeah, he is. He's very long for the weight class. Let's see. Lewis has untested TK defense. Could be interesting if Giles gets it to the ground. Yeah, that would be interesting to see how Lewis defends it. But then again, that's the one thing is untested. He could have superb takedown defense and catch off guard. He could bounce right up like Chuck Liddell did back in the day, if you recall watching his fights, folks. But yeah, me and Will looking to do a chat thing where if you join the members, you'll get like a little symbol. But we're not going to charge. It's just something that you can do apparently with the features because of we've got enough members. So I've got enough subscribers and view things. We can get this add-on stuff. So maybe just to make it a bit more fun on the chat, we'll look to add that in time. So if you're interested, let us know. And we'll see what we can add, maybe extra content-wise. I've got an interview booked for one of the UFC fighters tomorrow. So which is Thursday. So I'll be doing that interview tomorrow with one of the UFC fighters. I'll try to get that out on Friday for everyone. So I won't tell you who it is yet, but do check out the the YouTube channel to see who it is on Friday. Fingers crossed. Let's go to the next fight on the card, which is on the main card. We have Cláudia Gadelha against Yan Yan. Now, I've said that name, murdered that name. Get over it. I'm calling it Yan. It's Yan Xiaonan, isn't it? There you go. Yan Xiaonan. That's it. Haha. Whew. Do you know, I actually did practice it. I still got it wrong. Oh, shocker. Absolute shocker, folks. I don't know about anyone else listening and checking this out. For me, Cláudia Gadelha has not been that good since, I think, 2017. I don't know what happened. I don't know why. But she has been I don't know if maybe the fight, I think maybe it could be a case of her level and her standard. Everyone else has caught up to it or gone past it, and that's why she's not putting the performances out that she should. But the Carolina Kowalkiewicz win that she had back in 2017 was the best I've seen her. Since then, she's like the Jessica Andrade fight. She didn't do too well there. The Carla Esparza fight, she apparently won the decision. Don't know about that, but she did. Nina Ansaroff, then she beat Randa Marcos and she beat Angela Hill. But even still, those girls they're the lower end of the women's strawweight division. I was not impressed by Cláudia at all. People know that if she gets you to the ground, she's got an advantage. They know that she's going to try and go for the kind of submission game. But if you keep Cláudia on her feet, you know that's where her kind of Achilles heel is. Her striking isn't strong. She's fighting a girl in Yan who is crazy aggressive, hits hard, and comes forward and with reckless abandonment. This girl gives zero, folks, when it comes to a fight. Yan is gangster. I love watching the girl fight. I think she's absolutely stellar entertainment. That win against Carolina Kowalkiewicz was insane. Like, oh, I can't even put into words how wonderful that fight was. She beat obviously Angela Hill, but as a whole, she is a super aggressive fighter. She's got okay takedown defense. Don't get me wrong. I think Cláudia Gadelha is going to take advantage of this. Yeah, Yan is my favorite player of the card, bro. Definitely raging. I am with you on that one. She could even stop Cláudia Gadelha in this fight. I do feel that she could. I think Cláudia is I don't want to say an easy win for Yan, but I think it's one of the easier fights for her. I don't see anything exciting about Cláudia these days. She's not going to get back up there for a title contention. She's just nowhere near the mark. Man, I've got to go Yan all day here. I think she's going to bust up Cláudia Gadelha and have an absolute field day with her. And I think Claudia's going to have a rough night in the office. She is going to look like a pumpkin by the end of this. Oh, she's face going to be busted up. So I'm going Yan as well. And I want to see like a late stoppage potentially, just from an abundance of strikes, just eventually taking a toll. I'd love to see Yan incorporate body shots a bit more when she throws his aggressive combinations. Just throw a few body shots in from the early round, and then she will have a great time with that. Because then your opponent's going to get winded or get hurt in the head. So I'm going Yan for this. Next up we have, man. Now, I feel bad for Khalid Taha. Khalid Taha was scheduled to fight Jack Shaw, right? So that alone is a hard fight for Khalid Taha, man. Then he gets Ronnie Barcelos, which is a horrible fight in itself. Like, you don't... Like, usually when your guy pulls out, you think, oh, man, right, okay, they'll sign someone from the regional scene, potentially easier fight, let's say. Man, that's rough going. Now, Taha did fail a test back in 2019, got like a short ban, so to speak. I think it was to help do with weight cutting. I think it was not a performance enhancing. It wasn't like he was jacked to the gills like Arnold Schwarzenegger. It was actually, I think it's like a water retention thing or something like that, help getting rid of the water. But yeah, he did beat Bruno. Got the submission. Got the submission. I think it was. I think he won like a rear naked choke or something. But he got the Boston Salmon knockout, which was insane. But then he fought Nad Narimani in that fight, which was hard work for him, man. He had a great fight. Nad had a tough one against that, but he just showed great wrestling. And he came in, obviously, 145 rather than 135. He's got another hard one here. Barcelos is badass. Like, he's got solid striking, lovely front teep kicks. Ronnie has. He can throw some heavy leather. He's got some grappling aspects to him, which will cause Khalid absolute nightmares. It's a horrible fight, man. If anyone in that division gets Barcelos, they are going to have a rough time in the office. The dude is legit, and he's a good fighter, man. Khalid Taha's got to obviously try and live off that power. He's going to try and get the heavy striking in. But the performance that Barcelos did against Sedni Magomedov, that was a fantastic performance against the guy, using leg kicks wisely, superb little movement. And I think the same again is to apply. If I'm Barcelos, I'm going to hit those leg kicks hard. I'm going to hurt him. I'm going to slow him down. And that's what I'm using in this fight, man. So I'm going to go with Barcelos. It's coming in a little bit short notice. I'm going to go Barcelos. I think it's just a different kind of level of different animal. I'll go Barcelos decision win if he gets maybe a late stoppage potentially. But man, it's a hell of a fight. Next up, we have in the middleweight division. Thank you all for staying with me. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. Always looking for new fellow MMA fans. It's a community here at the MMA Huddle. And hit the like button if you haven't done already. We have in the middleweight division Ian Heinisch against Brandon Allen. I think this matchup's been made about 20 times. I think it keeps falling through in some whatever facet, but it's a fun fight. Ian Heinisch, he had a impressive kind of run. He kind of went fast. He just shot up rankings. He came into the UFC and then just beat Cesar Ferreira. Then he beat Carlos Jr., which is not easy feats to obviously have coming into the UFC. Then he kind of hit a stumbling block. We got Derek Brunson, who knew what was going to go down. We stopped that. Omari Akhmedov was able to stop it too. And then you had Gerald Birchak, his redemption fight. Gerald, who is slow off the mark, notoriously slow off the mark. Man, Ian Heinisch was in like a rapid man, just taking him out. So he's going to have a little bit of confidence going into the fight after that win against Gerald Birchak. But he's not fighting the same style. He's fighting a guy in Brendan Allen who bursts off the scene, and just is being an absolute headache for everyone. There's talks obviously of him in the future going to light heavyweight because of his size. They say that he's, it's a big drop down to 185 for him, and in the future he might be doing a 205. But since he's came into the UFC, the Kevin Holland fight, boom, went through him like a hot knife through butter. Let's look at Kevin Holland now. Kevin Holland is just coming into his own game. Tom Breeze cut through him like a hot knife through butter. Kyle Dacus, which was crazy. I thought he was going to go through him like a hot knife through butter. Now it's his toughest test. He showed 3 rounds. He showed there to everyone at home, I've got 3 rounds in me. One thing about Ian Heinisch is I've noticed that his pace does dwindle and does kind of fall off because he comes in hard to go and try and get the finish. I love that kind of thing about Ian Heinisch. He will try and get in there hard and fast to get that finish out of everyone, whether it be with striking or submissions. But he's fighting a guy in Brendan Allen who is going to go hard out and back. And I think here you're going to see Brendan Allen get Ian Heinisch down potentially. And it was going to be a grapple fest. You're going to see a lot of stuff on the cage, potentially double unders fight, the kind of underhook battle. You'll see the kind of stalemates with the single leg takedowns, not finishing them, switching positions, stuff like that. You'll see a little bit of striking, but I think mainly you're going to see quite a lot of grappling in this fight. But I do feel Brendan's got a little bit more in there than Ian Heinisch. I think he's a bit more ferocious. I think he's got a bit more of a killer instinct in certain areas, especially in the submission side of things. I think you'll see Brendan Allen get a submission here of Ian Heinisch. I think he can get him down to the ground. Allen has the size advantage, yeah, and has much stronger BJJ, black belt versus purple. Have to go with Allen, definitely raging. Bro, I'm with you as well. I just feel like he just sees those opportunities really well for submissions. Like he's quick onto them. He obviously creates opportunities, but not only does he create them, he takes them. He's really good off the mark, Brendan Allen. He's a super little exciting talent. And I think he should get the stoppage here with it, like kind of get the fight to the ground, even off his back. I think he'll be a deadly nightmare for Ian Heinisch if Ian Heinisch gets him down. But I'm going Brendan Allen here, submission win, Brendan Allen. Next up in the co-main event, we've got the man who does not seem to go away, Andrei Arlovski. Dang, I don't know if anyone remembers Andrei Arlovski from the early days. Man, this kid Oh, it's this kid. This man just doesn't seem to go away, man. At one point, you thought his chin's gone because he was fighting in a way that he fought for many a year. No worries, no cares. Used his chin as a defense and was super aggressive, fast with his hands. Arlovski was, and he was powerful and dangerous. He's over time changed his style. He's nowhere near as fast as he used to be. Don't get me wrong, his hand speed isn't slowed down too much, but he's nowhere near the speed he was. He's not as explosive and he just used his kind of experience and knowledge and maturity to slow it down as a heavyweight, pick the right opportunities for the striking, engage in the grappling as well. He's very smart these days at getting the points on the board. I don't care what he says. He's a points fighter now. He will fight for decisions before he'll fight for stoppages. Because if he fights for a stoppage, he's putting himself in the firing line to get struck and hit and hurt himself. So fighting for the decision, he's doing that well. He's going in there against guys who, on paper, you think Arlovski should be getting stopped maybe now, should be having a tough time against them. And these guys in the heavyweight division who are potentially like up and comers, new breed, new blood. He's having a good time. Like Felipe Lins, he had a good time there. Obviously, Ben Rothwell's not the same as that, but you've got guys in there that you just sit there and you think to yourself, okay, then it's going to be interesting. Now, obviously, the Walt Harris fight, I know he is no contest one, but if you look at some of the guys he's fighting, Taito Ivasa, decision loss. Shamil, decision loss. Sakai, decision loss. And obviously, he got knocked out by Rosenstruck. Rosenstruck's one of those guys who I think a lot of guys are going to have a nightmare with, and he just hits so freaking hard, and he's so over-aggressive. Tanner Boza came into UFC. I wasn't overly excited about him, I won't lie. I just didn't see too much about him that made me go, this guy is awesome. I watched him on the kind of Russian scene on ACB. I don't know if any of you guys have ever watched that kind of promotion. ACB is it's a good promotion. I won't lie. They've got some good fighters on there, good talent, and guys that come up from ACB to the UFC level. There's a combination of them. Hey, the 90s. Hey, good to see you, bro. Thanks for joining in. So Tanner didn't blow me away in a skill set. He beat Daniel Spitz, which was, I think anyone could say that's not going to be a surprise. Cyril Garnet, man, they knew what they're doing with Cyril. They give him the right fights against the right opponents. I'm very good, bro. I hope you're keeping well. I hope you're keeping safe. What's the phrase they say now? What's that? Oh, here we go. Hope you're keeping positive and testing negative. That's the one they say. That's it. That's the phrase I've heard. And then obviously you got the stoppage against Felipe Lins, which shocked me. And then he got another stop of Pessoa, Rafael Pessoa. Man, I was fuming about that one. I thought Pessoa was going to get that win. But he's got this air of confidence now about his striking. Arlovski's not stupid, guys. Arlovski's smart. He'll know that Tanner's going to go for the over looping hand punch. He's going to try and get the striking in. I'm going Arlovski on this one. I think Tanner's got the 3 rounds in him, because Tanner seems to be able to do 3 rounds and fight in a certain manner. I think Arlovski's got 3 rounds all day long because he fights at a pace that Tanner's probably going to fall into. Tanner has a high output pace, movement. Maybe doesn't throw enough strikes, but he kind of throws enough feints and little kicks and stuff. But man, I've got to go with Arlovski on this one, yeah. Olo wins on the cards, yeah. I think he just gets that. I think he's a veteran of an amazing career, and he's just smart now at getting those W's. Yeah, Boza for sure, in my opinion, definitely raging. That's the thing, Boza. He could leg kicks, yeah. That's the thing. He could get leg kicks. He could get the overhand right. That's one thing. And, you might see him throw the inside leg kick into the overhand shot, which could obviously potentially set up. But Arlovski at the same time, you might see Arlovski engage in the grappling aspect. And what I mean by that is he might throw a couple of strikes to get the clinch, get against the cage. And you've seen Arlovski do it how many times? He gets on top of the guys, clinches with the overhand, underhand, and he just works on them in the clinch. He'll throw knees, little punches, and all he does is just runs that clock down, tires the opponent out, and just tires the fight and just works his way through to get those decisions. I'm going to go Arlovski decision. Again, Tanner's surprised me in the past couple of fights, so kudos to him on that one. But I don't know how long he's going to keep doing it for. I'm not, again, still not hyped up about Taha. I don't think there's much about him that's blown me away. Next up in this, oh man, what a hell of a fight this is. The main event, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! This is a fight. Before we jump into that, don't forget, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the like for the video, and obviously comment on your picks below. This big step up for Boza. It is a big step up, man. There's definitely, that is what Arlovski is. He's the ultimate gatekeeper in the heavyweight division. So in the main event, Thiago Santos returns and Glover Teixeira is there before him. You have a guy in Santos who a lot of people feel like if his leg didn't, or knee, sorry, I rephrase that, didn't go, I think he had like ACL, MCL, all that good stuff kind of blow on him in the John Jones fight. He could have beaten Jones. He could have won the light heavyweight title potentially. There was a lot of if, buts, and maybes, but the fact of the matter is there's no if, buts, and maybes now. He has not done it. But he's coming back against a guy who's revived himself a little bit in Glover Teixeira, because Glover Teixeira had a rough time for a little bit. He kept winning and losing fights, and now he's on like a 4-fight win streak. Now, he beat Carl Robertson. Solid win for him there. The Cutelaba fight. Cutelaba is so annoyingly predictable. If he doesn't get the heavy strikes on you, he's going to gas himself out. You take him to the ground. He has a rough time on the ground. Nikita Krylov. That was a back and forth battle. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for the most part. And then obviously the Anthony Smith performance. I'm just going to spit some feathers out here. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I need to water the cockles up. Here we go. So Anthony Smith performance. I thought it was pretty impressive, man. Anthony Smith did good at the start of the fight. He was landing some good strikes, but Glover was able to close that distance down, man. Anthony Smith wasn't showing or landing kind of knockout killer punches on Teixeira. Now, don't get me wrong, Teixeira was battered and bruised a little bit in the face, but he showed, even at his age, I think he's like 41 now, he is still a bad man in that light heavyweight division. Now, he has been rocked a couple of times in fights, man. I like Glover here. High fight IQ, yeah. Wide veteran, very good. He has got a super good IQ. He is a clever man. But let's look at Thiago Santos, bro. We've got to respect Thiago Santos. Now, having that time off, that is a rough time. You lose to John Jones, and then a year and a bit later, they say, you've had the knee issue, you want to go in a 5-round fight. That's a big ask. I would have put Thiago down into maybe like a 3-round fight just to get him back into the group, but put him back in a 5-rounder. That's a bit mean. But look, man, he stopped Jan Blachowicz, the current champ, Jimmy Manor, who was kind of on his way out, Eric Anders, Kevin Holland. Like, the dude just froze hell. Like, he froze hell. He has been stopped himself, though. So let's take that into account. He's been stopped by opponents. He's shown holes in his game. If you give Thiago Santos space and you're fighting, you are asking for him to throw something heavy. Those leg kicks, his legs throw absolute thunder. It's not even funny. It's absolutely disgusting, the sound that makes, but also quite a beautiful art form. He relies a little bit on that fear. Glover Teixeira has wicked little boxing, fantastic combinations. If you look at Glover, the body shots that Glover throws on guys is ridiculously powerful and effective, especially on a 5-round fight. Glover Teixeira also has the grappling aspect where when he gets guys to the ground, as we've seen before, if he feels like guys dangerous on his feet, he'll go straight for the grappling aspect. Yeah, coming off knee surgery, yeah, I'm interested to see if Santos continues to throw kicks as often as he used to. I would like to think he would, bro, because it would be a worry for me if he came back and tried to change his style, because one thing you can't do is get rid of that habit. He's had that habit in him for years. He's been throwing that style of fighting, like style of kicks, for so long. It would be so difficult for Santos to come forward now and suddenly just go, no, I don't throw leg kicks no more, or I reduced the amount of leg kicks I throw because my knee, because I'm scared of getting hurt. I think it'd be silly of him to step back in the cage if he's that scared. But I also feel that in one context that he has to. It might be a back thought. It might be a worry in his mind that he is worried about his knee, that it could go. I'd like to think he's been tested in training. I'd like to think he's put it through some horrible training sessions to make sure there isn't any niggling problems. But man, one kick could end the fight from Thiago Santos. But for me, I just think that even at 41 years old, Glover has got some true veteran IQ, like you said there, the 90s. He's got power in his hands. He's got jiu-jitsu, which can strangle you he can strangle you out. He can get you down. True. He did keep throwing it even after it was injured early on Jones' fight, man. Yeah, I think leg health is a liability potentially, though. I'm 90s. I'm like you. I'm kind of swaying towards the Glover Teixeira camp, man. I don't want to I was potentially thinking about fading on Glover a little while back. I thought maybe, but man, he has done things in the past few fights that have made me go, he's smart, he's adjusted, and his kind of technical abilities have never wandered or waded. He has always kept a high level and a high quality output. Thiago Santos, I think as long as you can close distance on Thiago, get it in a boxing range against Thiago, you have a far higher probability of winning. With Glover Teixeira, I think he should know that. I think he should be trying not to keep it in a position where Thiago's been able to throw the kicks. Glover, if you see as well, because he has that boxing style, he always has his hands quite high, so he should be okay for blocking the head kick potentially. Or even if the head kicks were to come in, maybe shoot down for a takedown to try and offset Thiago's balance and get the guy to the ground. Maybe try to tie him around. Maybe try to wear him out. You got to look at that Glover fight against Smith. 5th round, and he came out swinging hard, and he looked fantastic. For a guy at 41 in a 5-round fight, he looked tremendous for that. If I'm Glover, I'm going hard, fast, pushing on pressure. I want to push Thiago. I want to see where he can go in a 5-round fight with all that time off. I'm going to go with Thiago, man. Now, don't forget, get me wrong, there's always that, like, Thiago's live. Thiago Santos live, man. He can hit so freaking hard. It's scary. But I've got to go with Glover Teixeira. I just feel that he has a little bit more about him. I think he's got, man, he has got some great boxing skills, folks. I love his boxing. I love the way his hands go. So, yeah, that's my pick. I'd love to know, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't done already, who you're picking the fight card, who you're going for. What we'll do is now we're going to go to the betting side of things. I'm going to go and see what the latest odds are, and we'll go off the latest odds. Of course, they will change over the course of the whole week going into it, but let's just jump in. Sup, John? Sorry I missed the show. Just my 2 cents. Bro, it's all good, my friend. Don't fret. Look, who you picking in the main event, man? That's the big question, man. Are you going for the Thunder Thighs, Thiago Santos, or the Slick Hands of Glover Teixeira? I'd love to know who you're thinking, bro. So, yeah, we're going to just jump in here to the odds. Let's go there. Open these odds. Thank you very much. Okay, so here we go. Flip. Give me Santos. Ooh, coin flip. Santos. Okay, that's nice. Bro, I'm going with your boy Glover. Man, I just feel that he's got the power. Yeah, Glover is a good bet. The odds too wide. Do you know what? Sometimes the odds, it's an absolute pain in the ass, isn't it? Sometimes it absolutely bewilders me where they pick and find these odds and why and how they do it. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Let's see what they got here. Yeah, they got Santos minus 240, Glover plus 190. That is a big gap. Dang, guys. Dang. Orlovsky plus 22. Oza minus 300. There you go. You got a good odds there. Had a hard time not going with Glover. He has momentum. He's got insane momentum at the moment, hasn't he? He's been pulling off some great little performances. I've been thoroughly impressed with the way he's performed lately. Let's go to here. So we're going to go with, let's have a look here. So you got Max Griffin. He is minus 140. Ramiz is plus 115. Yeah, value on Glove for sure. 100%. And he's a dog, and he's a live dog. If anyone thinks Glover's got out the window, you're crazy, man. He's on a 4-fight win streak, for goodness sake. He is a badass. Look, Ramiz, man, I said it, I think it's submission. I still feel that way. Plus 115, they're good odds. Elkins, minus 230. Garagorri plus 190. Leave that alone, I would. The Lima plus 275. Romanov minus 400. Damn, that's expected. Look at this. Giga's minus 550. And Simmons is plus 400. Waste of a time even look at that bet. Yeah, dog will pass for the betting, man. Trevin Giles, he is minus 115, and so is Bevon Lewis. That's a pick him. So minus 115, they're good odds, guys, So like I said, I was picking Bevon Lewis, minus 115. That's some good money to put onto there. Cláudia Gadelha is a plus 115 underdog against Jan, who's a minus 135. I like that. Still struggling with that pick, just my 2 cents. Yeah, it is like... No matter how much tape study I watched on Glover and Santos, I was still up in the air of it. Yeah, I think we might get a fair few dogs winning. Yeah, definitely Lewis or Giles. Man, I'm going Lewis in my opinion now on that one. Look at this. Jan is minus 135. They're great odds, folks. Like 135 for Jan. I think he's going to murder Cláudia. So that's a good one. Look at this. Heinisch and Brendan Allen is a 115 pick and minus 115. Again, I'm going Brendan Allen all day in this. I think that was, again, there's some good money. There's some good odds in this. Even on what we're on Wednesday now, there's still some money and value in some of these picks. Oh, man, how rough's that? Khalid Taha plus 270. Barcelos comes in short notice at minus 350. Yeah, I've kind of thought that would happen. Yeah. And plus 190 for Glover, that is super tempting, even for me. Romanov, Barcelos, Chikadze, parlay, wish me luck, definitely raging. All three of them, I 100% see money winning on those. Yeah, I feel better being wrong about Lewis than picking Giles and getting burned. Yeah, Giles is, you feel like he should be winning a lot more, but he doesn't. Guys, there's some good odds there. I'm telling you now, like you said, they're definitely raging. There's some parlay pieces there with some of those odds where you get some great plus money kind of values there. Do let me know what your bets are. If you haven't put any bets on yet, or during the week, let me know if you put any bets down. Love to know who you're going for, guys, because I bet there's some fantastic odds right now, I think, for all of you to jump onto. If you don't jump on it, I'd be ludicrous not to look at that. So there's some great parlay pieces and just straight bets. I think either one, you're winning. You wouldn't even have to worry about going for like a pick 'em. Prop bet. You don't have to even think about that. So again, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't subscribed already to the channel and you're new, please hit that subscribe button. Give the video a like. That is the picks for this week's card coming up. I'm taking a chance on Taha. Okay, but I like Romanov and Giga to dominate. Yeah, okay. Taha is a risk. I won't lie. He is a risk. I think Barcelos should get the win, in my opinion, bro. Just my 2 cents. Yeah, guys, here we go. It says definitely raging. Other player have, Zhao, Allen, Barcelos, round, okay, I like that as well. Yeah, I think those three should come in, raging. I think all three of those should definitely get the wins. But like I said before, bro, they're even good for some straight betting. Like even the Jan and the Allen ones, those odds are great for straight bets, bro. So do think about looking at that too. Like I said, it's great to have you all interacting. It's great to have you all on here. I don't know, maybe in future I won't do it at 9 o'clock. I might do it at 9:30 maybe. It's now 5 to 10 in the UK. So I'm not sure where everyone is in the world listening. But if it's maybe a more suitable time for everyone, if I were to do maybe 10 o'clock UK or Greenwich Mean Time, I might look to do a 10 o'clock show for you guys if I ever do live streaming. So it might be a bit easier for you. For anyone tuning in. I played it safe last week and it paid off with picks. Yeah, taking a few chances this week. That's what it's about, bro. Just keep your money responsible. So when you're betting, as we always say, don't go out your means and just be smart. Don't forget, next week Will hopefully should have his laptop, a new laptop, and should all be working with the webcam stuff and all that. Should be, and we've been conversing. But we have Islam Makhachev, Rafael dos Anjos. Woo, that fight is a tasty one. You also have Corey McKenna stepping into the UFC, making a debut after Dana White Contender Series. She's fighting Kay Hansen. You also have Eric Anders, your boy. He's coming back and fight Julian Marquez, who's got his podcast with Kendra Lust, that's the one. I think it's his first fight since then, since he started that podcast. So you've got some nice fights here. Miranda Granger is on the card against Ashley Yoda. Alex Marino is fighting Reese McKee, and Reese McKee gets his first full camp fight since, obviously, he fought Chimaev. So you got Tony Gravely, Geraldo de Freitas. Not an overly exciting fight, but you have got 2 fights on that card, which are insanely fun. Tape story alone is going to be good. Brian Barberena against Daniel Rodriguez, done the tape story on that. Woo! And then you got Abdul Al Hassan against Kalen Williams. Dang, honestly, those 2 fights alone make this card absolute fire. So if you haven't already looked at these fights and tape study, I applaud you all just to have a quick look at UFC Fight Pass and watch their fights, man. These guys are going to throw leather, and it's going to be violent. So look, thank you all for tuning in this week. It's been great having you all contributing and tuning in and talking. I love you all. Me and Will always love every one of you for talking to us and joining the conversation. Have a great week. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the fights. Enjoy the violence. Bet responsibly. Stay safe. Be positive. Test negative. You know how it is. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm out.